Rockies World is sponsored by Shanahan Steakhouse. The Rockies last night had a suspension of the game in the 6th inning. And that's the last time they had that amount of rain in Los Angeles. A guy in another part of the world built a big ark. I thought they were actually going to take as many animals as they could find in Los Angeles and put them on a boat and go down, at least, cruise ship, go down to Mexico. Because that never happens. The last time it was rain out, it was like 10, 12, 15 years ago. The guys who were on the groundskeeper staff didn't even know how to unfurl the tarp, put it on the field because they never practiced it. So I turned off. I wanted to go to the Clippers-Warriors game, or Clippers-Rockets game, and follow that. I was fueled by the Rockets. How's that for a pun? And so I didn't go back. And it turned out there was an hour and a half delay. They were behind, and I went, oh, that's the end of it. Not going to happen. And I knew that the Dodgers were going to go to their bullpen, and the Rockies would have to make changes with their pitcher after that long delay, and Troy knows about that. And then, shockingly, I wake up this morning early, about 6 o'clock, and I look to see what happened and how much they got beat by, and they won 5-4. Do we know what the parade route is? Have we found out what the parade route is? They have this winning streak. I think they've tied the longest winning streak of the year, one. Does this mean, and someone said to me, do you think they've turned it around now? No, I don't think they've turned it around. I want to correct a mistake. I said yesterday that Dick Monfort and Jeff Bridich had gone into hiding. Well, Jeff Bridich hasn't gone into hiding. He didn't talk to me or anybody else. He didn't talk to you, but he talked to Major League Baseball Network. And so he said, it's easy to tell that we're not, he said, we have put together a good team. They're not playing well. And I found it funny that in one sentence he's talking about we put together what we thought was a good team. They aren't playing very well. Well, I want to correct that. I said yesterday he's in hiding. He came out of hiding for just long enough to talk to MLB Network. But we haven't heard from Dick Monfort, who's probably been placed in a closet and gagged by the PR staff and told not to talk about this matter. And it's probably good that Dick isn't talking. Could he come out and go, well, we have these architectural plans here for what we're doing in left field. We're going to put in a food court that is going to rival all the great food courts in the world. So that would be his response. Or, hey, you don't like it? Don't come to the games. Well, guess what? People don't like it. They're not coming to the games, especially when you draw 2,000 on an afternoon game, even if it is raining. But here's the point that I want to make. Troy Tulowitzki came out yesterday and addressed it. And I thought Troy has always been honest in terms of what he says about the way he feels. And he's not going to pressure the Colorado Rockies to trade him someplace else. But we all know that Troy Tulowitzki wants to play for a winner again. He had a taste of it early in his career in 2007 and again in 2009. But now he's on that long train like Todd Helton where you have a taste and you want a full meal and you never get it. And I think the best thing in the world is for Troy Tulowitzki to be traded somewhere. Sometimes I think as fans and media, you pull for guys. People always ask us in the media who we pull for. We pull for people that we like, people that are good people. And Troy Tulowitzki has been injured a lot. Sometimes he's been sullen, surly, but he's always, I think, been frank. He's willing to talk to people in the media. He hasn't really become a part of the community like John Elway or even Peyton Manning to that extent. But I think that Troy Tulowitzki deserves the right to go to play in Boston or New York and ply his trade there and make his $20 million. And I hope the Rockies are looking into that situation. I pointed out I think they are to trade Cargo, and I think they are to trade De La Rosa. Take $47 million off the books and go out and, during the offseason, overpay pitchers. I know we're living in that Mike Hampton syndrome still. That was 1999, and we're in 2015. Get over it, Dick. Get over it. It happened. A mistake was made. I talked to a friend the other day, and I said, I'm thinking about taking my mother up to Blackhawk. She likes to play at the casino and pull the handle. And the person told me, oh, I went up to Blackhawk, had a bad experience. I'm never going back again. Well, just because you had one bad experience at Costco or Disney World or at Blackhawk or in going out and getting a pitcher doesn't mean that you don't ever do it again. there will be, and I've looked at it, there will be a number, as usual, of great free agent type pitchers out there. So take that $47 million, trade Troy, get what you can for him, a couple of young, and I heard Drew Goodman yesterday, I have great respect for Drew, heard him say, you got to go out and get an experienced pitcher that has done it before. Well, that hasn't worked out. Why not get 3 prospects for him? Guys that have proven themselves in AAA or young pitchers in the major leagues, and bring them in, and let's spend the rest of the year finding out about Jonathan Gray. Let's get him up here, even though he's been struggling down there. Let's get Rex Brothers out. Let's decide that I would like to see them bring up Trevor Story, and let's see what he's got. I'd like to see them bring up David Dahl, Tim Wheeler, who's kind of disappeared into the system. I'd like to, Kyle Parker. Are we ever going to find out anything about Kyle Parker? He was a #1 draft pick. Let's just, if I were in charge of the Rockies and their PR department and their ownership, I'd say, this just didn't work out again. It didn't work out again. We're going to show you our prospects. We're going to work at next year and admit it. We're going to, the Houston Astros, and Troy knows this and we'll talk about it. The Houston Astros were the worst team in the league. They were like the Colorado Rockies. Well, guess what? Sports Illustrated wrote last year this was a coming team. Where are they today? I think the last time I looked, they were up 6 games. They did it the right way, and they're now back as a contender in baseball. The Rockies, the rate they're going, is just continuous. It's just never ending, that they're always going to be in mediocrity. And I'm not asking them to spend $200 million. Just give us some hope and promise for the future. I'm Woody Paige, and that's my opinion. Woody's World is sponsored by Shanahan Steakhouse, and I talk every day about a different aspect. And I mentioned yesterday, and I want to bring this up in case you missed it, that we always talk about the dinners at Shanahan's. Do this. When you go to shanahansteakhouse.com, don't make a reservation for one night. Make it for back-to-back nights. And you go in the first night, and you have a little glass of wine, and you have a salad, and you have an appetizer. Then you go back the next night, and you have some bisque, and you have an entree. And then you go back a third night, and you have dessert. Talk about a vacation, a 3-day vacation. The valet parkers are the best in the world. They have a wine selection that would rival anything in France. They have service that is incomparable. I think that's the word I'm going for. Really good is what I'm trying to say. Shanahan Steakhouse. Go to shanahansteakhouse.com and make your reservation now.